Hi guys, welcome to my channel Ask Katina. OP, it seems you are such a greedy person. You are almost over 65 years old. So what are you going to do with your gold jewels? Just give it to him. And don't worry, he will take care of you. This is one of the responses I found as an advice for the problem that mentioned in this story. Yes, this is the correct solution. Let's check it out by ourselves. The original story is: we are Indian, and in my culture, it is a tradition to give the bride a lot of gold sets of jewelry for her wedding. When each of my children were born, I bought a set for both my daughters and a set for my son's future wife. I also have my own personal collection of wedding jewelry that I have divided for daughters and future daughter-in-law. When my son came out as a gay, I redistributed my collection to give them mainly to my daughters. But I kept a few sets in case my son ever had a daughter. Now that my son is getting married, his future husband is wondering about his gifts. While it is tradition for parents to give their future son or daughter-in-law a gift, since he is a man, I got him a kara, which is a Sikh bracelet usually made of steel, but I got him one made from solid gold, and my son has a matching one. He told my son that he doesn't want a religious gift for his wedding and that he found it tacky. That is fine if he doesn't like it, but I was going through my collection the other day to pull out pieces I want to coordinate for my outfits, so that I can order my outfits in advance. And he saw me and wanted to see everything and give input. I also showed him the sets I have saved if they have a daughter. He is insisting that he gets these sets first and then he will give them to the daughter if they have one. In particular, there is a pair of emerald and diamond earrings I got from my own paternal grandmother that I would like to give my son's daughter if they have one. I told him no because I set this aside for just a granddaughter and not a son. If he chooses to wear jewelry to his wedding, I really don't mind, but I picked all the sets special for a daughter or daughter-in-law, and I don't want to waste them on a boy. These sets are to be worn with saris and lehengas. I don't want him to have them. My future son-in-law is calling me homophobic for not sharing, but I think it would be a waste to give them to a man to accessorize with a tuxedo, and I did not originally buy this for him in the first place. Am I the a-hole? Also, even though he likes jewelry, he does not wear women's clothes. So I know he would never wear it with a lehenga the way this jewelry should be worn. And the additional information about this story is, just to clarify some things here, my son will be having a Sikh wedding, and since he is religious, my future son-in-law agreed beforehand that their household would be Sikh and any future children would be Sikh. Son-in-law was raised Catholic but is not very religious now, but is spiritual. But being Sikh means a lot to my son. Our religion, or at least the way we practice it, is very open-minded, accepting and loving. So future son-in-law was on board. I got him a gold kara because that is the same gift I got for my other two son-in-laws. Also, the kara does not have any religious text on it. If you are not Sikh, you would assume it's just a gold bracelet, but anyone who is Sikh would know what it is. The next edit I would like to share is: future son-in-law is Catholic and Caucasian. His family is not as well off financially, so we will also be helping pay for the wedding, just for the sake of equality, because we also contributed X amount for each daughter's wedding, so we will give X amount to son's wedding. If I had a lesbian daughter, her wife would be getting gold sets of jewelry. It also was not my idea for their wedding to be Sikh or their children to be Sikh. My son had a very difficult time after he finished his undergraduation, and he took the time to reconnect with God, pray, meditate, And his connection to Sikhism is what anchored him, and that is why, before getting married, he had to know if his spouse would be okay with that. Also, when you say children being raised Sikh, that means if they are a girl, their middle name would be Kaur, and if they are a boy, their middle name would be Singh. Also, my son is a doctor and my sister-in-law is a high school teacher, so I don't think money is an issue here. The next edit I would like to share is, I have been reading all your comments and I really appreciate the discussion happening, but a lot of comments are hung up on the words wasted on your boy. I understand why some people are offended, but I wanted to make sure you have the facts as well. If you search for the images of Sikh brides through Google, you will all see a lot of photos of Sikh brides. Most of these wedding jewelry sets come together: headpiece, earrings, nose ring, or a necklace. The necklaces would not fit him. He does not wear nose rings, he would not be able to wear the headpiece, and he could just wear the earrings. Also, the gold bracelets I have from my personal collection would not fit him, so to give them to him symbolically would be a waste. So before seeing the update for this story, I will share my opinion here. Firstly, it is important to acknowledge that cultural traditions and family heirlooms hold significant value and meaning, and it is understandable that you want to pass them down to your daughters and potential granddaughter. Secondly, it is also important to respect your son's future husband's wishes and preferences. If he does not want a religious gift, it is reasonable to consider an alternative that he would appreciate. However, it is not fair to accuse you of homophobia for not wanting to give the jewelry to a man. The jewelry was intended for a daughter or daughter-in-law, and it is understandable that you should not want to give it to someone who does not identify as such or who would not wear it as intended. It may be helpful to have an open and honest conversation with your son and his future husband about your feelings and the intentions regarding the jewelry. It is possible to find a compromise that honors both the traditions and values of your family as well as the wishes and preferences of your son's future husband. The other advices from the community members are: I think OP is not an a-hole. It is women's jewelry meant to be passed to women of the family. Also, a kada sometimes wear as a bracelets too. So it's super ungrateful of him to not accept that. It's also shady that he was eyeing your jewelry and demanding for it. Even women, daughters or daughter-in-law don't demand jewelry like that. The second opinion is not the a-hole. You brought the jewelry for a woman and you are under no obligation to give it to your son-in-law. You also pointed out that he would not even be able to wear some of them, probably as he is wearing a tux. When you specified which pieces he wanted to save for his future daughter, that he might not even have, my first thought is that he is going to try and sell them. Additionally, he said he doesn't want a religious wear and that he thought it was tacky. I also find it strange that he wants to hold on to it and give it to his future daughter himself instead of having you give it to her. After all, it would be a gift from you in the end. I may be jumping to conclusions, but don't give him the jewelry as there's a chance you might not see it again. The third opinion is not an a-hole. Even if your future son-in-law is a bit hurt, he is being incredibly rude. He is not a bride, he is a groom. One of two, he was given a gift that is traditional for a groom and was rude about it. Making any demands of your jewelry or what you might do with it for a future hypothetical granddaughter is rude and frankly tacky. Honestly, I would have thought it would be more homophobic to give him gifts meant for a bride, like being gay somehow makes him not a man. Now let's see the updates of this post. Thank you so much for your responses, good or bad, but some of the things you replied to my post did upset me. Many of you applauded me for supporting my son, but mostly because you were so deprived of support from your own families that you were impressed that I was doing anything at all. I didn't like the way this sat with me. I don't want to be doing the bare minimum. Since my son and future son are staying with us right now, I decided to discuss some of the points you all made and work this out. I showed him photos from my own wedding and we both agreed that the jewelry was made for female outfits and the female body. I also talked to him about the cultural significance of the Kara and what it means to me for him to have it, and he apologized and said he was out of line. I think there was some tension because, as many of you said, the word homophobic should not be carelessly thrown around. When my son first came out over 15 years ago, he interpreted my shock as a disapproval, and it created a barrier in our relationship. We put a lot of time and effort in therapy as a family to make sure our son felt supported. So, when my future son-in-law called me homophobic, it made everything feel very hostile to me. But he explained that he was taking things personally, mainly because his own family is outwardly accepting. But there are still little things they do that make him feel unwelcome, which causes him to feel hypersensitive about these issues. So we decided that a basic wedding is not traditional, so the jewelry given should also not be traditional. We have decided to make a new tradition, and when everything is back to normal, me, my husband, son and my future son-in-law will be taking a trip to India so he can see my hometown and my husband's hometown, and we will get a special set of gold bracelets that are more ornate than a Kara for him and my son, and earrings made special just for him. Heirlooms all start out as new to someone, right? And now this is my opinion after reading the whole story. So finally it seems the OP is taking steps to address the concerns raised by the community and is working to create a new tradition that is inclusive and respectful of the son's future son-in-law's identities. It is positive that they are having open and honest conversations with their family to ensure that everyone's feelings and perspectives are respected. It is important to continue learning and growing as individuals to create a more accepting and loving family environment.